hasn't failed you yet, but they're going the first time. Right? I've worked with foals that are, just 2 weeks old all the way up to senior horses that are in their 30s and 40s.
35.
35? 35. So it creates a safe environment because it stops that panic flight, it stops the panic thinking, it stops the adrenaline, and it causes the horse, if you're on the ball and you're with it, to start thinking. So the horse learns to think things through. The horse is also the operant, as I said earlier. He operates the outcome of the exercise, so he's the operant, so he makes choices. Okay, I like to work with horses at liberty a lot. Do you have a bridle for him a halter instead of a bridle for the very start? If you want to get a halter and get him haltered rather than a bridle, that would be great. Give him a nice long lead rope instead of the bridle and the rein. Since I'm starting from the beginning, and I would love to work with him loose in here, but I think today that we'll keep him on lead rope. But you start on the groundwork. You work with the groundwork, and then you can take it right into the saddle. People ask, well, if you can't take a clicker into the dressage ring, you can't take the clicker into a show ring, so what do you do? Well, once behavior is learned, okay, the horse, because of their survival system, really only has to execute a behavior perfectly 3 or 4 times, and he'll never forget it. Just repeated over and over and over and over and over and over and over again is not necessary, and it bores them to tears. Just 3 or 4 times, you're done. You can use clicker training 5 minutes a day to teach a new behavior, to reinforce a behavior, to do a myriad of different things with the horse, okay? Keep the horse motivated. So 3 or 4 times the horse has learned it, okay? He's become conditioned to it. He's never going to forget it. So there's no keep on, repeating for days and days and days. So it creates a safe environment because they're thinking, they're motivated, they're more motivated, they want to stay with you because they like their primary main course, or they like their pellets, or their Cheerios, or pieces of pretzels, or whatever they like their treat. And it also eliminates frustration and aggression. How many here have been trying to teach your horse a new exercise, a new movement, or whatever, and have just come away in tears? Complete frustration, aggression. Complete frustration, your horse is just shut down, and your brain is frazzled. Oh, we're all perfect trainers? Come on, you can't tell me that. Yeah, there's always frustration. You're dealing with an animal of a different color than we are. And it can be, so this helps to stop that frustration because it becomes fun. And it also creates a focus on what you're doing with the horse. So your focus is on the horse rather than being, okay, crap, I got to get Susie to the soccer field by 3 o'clock, and I got to get this, go to the store and get this, and we got a show to do in 3, and your mind is everywhere but on your horse. Okay? Where does that leave the horse? We all know that the horse responds to human thinking and energy. Okay? Your horse gets left out in left field. So naturally, he's not going to connect with you to do the things that you want. Using a clicker also helps you to become focused on the horse. So then you'll have the focus, and your horse will have the focus, and you'll work together, so it enhances your connection with your horse. Then your horse begins to look forward to working with you and having fun with you, instead of seeing the halter and booking it out, in the opposite direction, leaving you going, oh, again, I have to walk 5 acres to go get him. You can even use a clicker to train the horse or teach the horse a certain cue or whistle or whatever, or to see you stand here like this, to come up from 5 acres away, 10 acres away, 20 acres away, and come up and target your hand and say, okay, I'm ready, I'll put my hand in my halter now. Okay, so you don't have to run all over God's creation going after a horse that doesn't want to be caught. You don't catch the horse ends up catching you. Okay, how many would like that? Ta-da! Yeah. So what happens, we work with the operant conditioning, and it ends up being a classical conditioning. What's the difference? Pavlovian dogs. Anybody familiar with the study of Pavlovian dogs? Okay, so you know that they were conditioned so when they hear a bell, okay, they start to salivate, correct? All right, how many of you, when you smell apple pie, start to salivate? Okay, well, why? Because it tastes good, and we remember, that's classical conditioning, all right? And it's just an automatic response. We take the clicker and move it into classical conditioning because the horse learns the cue. Okay, and that's when we start, when the horse knows the behavior, you can start what's called variable reinforcement. So you're not clicking every time the horse is doing something. At the very first, you may be absolutely flooding the horse with clicks and treats, and then you wean them on. And the behaviors, you're down 100%, you remove the clicker from that particular behavior. You may never need it again. You may need it for a reminder someday when the horse says, no, I'm not feeling too good today. I don't want to do anything. Oh, really, click? Oh, wait a minute, I'll come back and do something. Okay, so it increases their attention, and increases their awareness, and increases their motivation to work with you, their willingness. It absolutely establishes a connection between the human and the horse that is so easily for the horse to understand if the human is on target, no pun intended. Speaking of the target, we have a target that we use. We charge a clicker first, and then I usually teach the horse the target. I have a little, dollar, Terry, is it Terry?
Yeah.
Could I have that? Yeah, I'll bring the whole thing out, thanks. What is this called? Somebody help me out with this.
Baton.
Thank you. Dollar store, a little girl's baton. Yellow is a color that horses see the most clearly, okay? Purple and yellow happens to be variations of color for Penzance, so I picked out a purple and yellow baton. It doesn't have to cost you. I know somebody that, who uses a brand new bathroom plunger for a target, okay? It's soft enough so if the horse bangs his nose on it, it's not going to hurt him. And it's, I don't know, I don't think I'd want to run around with a plunger as she does. You can put a tennis ball on the end of a stick. You can make all sorts of different targets. But what you do, this becomes a safety place for the horse also. You teach them to target something, you can teach them to lead. They'll follow. Okay, we're not going to go through all of that today. There's just not enough time. They'll follow the target. Okay, if a horse gets spooky, you're coming up to a stream. Here's the stream. Okay, the horse is barking. Touch. You tell him to touch and he'll get closer. You click and reward him. Touch. Pretty soon he's got his whole nose blowing bubbles in the water. And then it goes over. No big deal because he's learned that the target is safety. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Like a safety place. Horses have 3 zones. They have zone 1 where they're completely safe. We have 3 zones too. Completely safe. Everything is awesome in the world. Head down, grazing grass. It's just the world is beautiful. Life is good. Okay? Second zone is, okay, I'm not real sure about this. I don't know. And you can see the, the anxiety building up in the horse, and he's like, I don't know, and then pretty soon, boom. Like that, he's gone into zone 3, which means I'm out of here now because I'm going to die. So what you want to do is keep the horse from going into zone 3, expand the zone 2, at the same time expanding the zone 1. So you start with zone 1. This can be your zone 1. Okay, and just so you know, clicker training or positive reinforcement is used a lot in schools now with incorrigible of the incorrigibles. Okay, with kids, there's a man that used to, I don't know if he still does or not, and I can't remember his name. I have hard enough time remembering my own name. He goes around the country teaching teachers how to work with these incorrigible kids whose next step is lockup. Okay, they're bottom of the heap. And in 3 days, he'll have model students getting straight A's using the clicker and positive reinforcement. So it works with kids. It works with husbands. You don't run around with a clicker, but man, I'm real good to oh honey, I just love it when you sweet talk me. And give him a kiss, and it makes him feel all good, so then he sweet talks you again.
Then he's out cleaning your stalls, isn't
Huh?
Then he's out cleaning your stalls.
That's right. Well, he fills up the water, he cleans my stalls, he cleans my paddocks, and after working a 14-hour day. So I can't complain. A lot of positive reinforcement. So in the process of doing positive reinforcement with the horse, okay, you're going to ignore the bad behavior, all right? People are going to say, a lot of people have the misconception that if you hand feed a horse, you're going to get a biter. Well, guess what I do for biting horses? I feed them lots of treats. I stick my hands in their mouth. I play with the top of their mouth. I play with their tongue. I move their cheeks and their nose around, okay? And teach them to either face or to touch. They don't get a treat when they come after me. If I ask them to, they get a treat. Okay, and if a horse comes over and he's sniffing at me or whatever, put my finger out and he immediately goes like that, and I use the cue word face. Okay, and this works for horses that start to mug you because, of course, they don't know about the clicker training, they haven't been taught.